Look down at your pants right now. Grab the little metal tab on your zipper. I can guarantee you, with almost absolute certainty, that stamped right into the metal of that zipper are 3 letters. YKK. Go ahead, check your favorite winter jacket too. Check your backpack, check your sleeping bag, your gym bag, and your boots. They all say YKK. You are wearing a secret code right now, and you probably have no idea what it means. It's not a clothing brand you've ever seen in a commercial. You can't go to the mall and buy a YKK shirt. Yet this invisible, silent company produces over 7 billion zippers every single year. They quietly control the entire global fashion industry from the shadows. And the craziest part? If this one factory stopped working tomorrow, billion-dollar empires like Levi's, Nike, and the North Face would face total collapse. So who exactly is YKK? And how did they conquer the world without anyone noticing? To understand this invisible empire, we have to travel back to Tokyo in the year 1934. We have to meet a man named Tadao Yoshida. Back in the 1920s and 30s, the zipper was a relatively new invention, and to be completely honest, it was a nightmare. Early zippers were originally called hookless fasteners, and they were notorious for ruining people's days. They jammed constantly. They rusted after one wash. They popped open at the worst possible moments, causing massive public embarrassment. They were so unreliable that most clothing manufacturers refused to use them, sticking strictly to buttons and laces. Tadao Yoshida was not an inventor. He was a tinkerer and a fierce perfectionist. He looked at the zippers on the market and realized something fundamental about human psychology and clothing. He realized that a zipper is the single most critical point of failure on any garment. Think about it. If the fabric of your jacket tears, you can sew a patch on it. If a button falls off your shirt, you can easily sew it back on in 5 minutes. But if the zipper on your heavy winter coat breaks, that coat is completely useless. A $500 piece of high-end outdoor gear becomes garbage because of a broken 50-cent piece of metal. Yoshida decided he was going to build a zipper that would never, ever fail. He founded a company called Yoshida Kogyo Kabushi Gaisha, which translates to Yoshida Manufacturing Corporation, or YKK for short. But Yoshida quickly ran into a massive problem. To make the perfect zipper, he needed perfect copper. He needed perfect plastic. He needed perfectly woven fabric tape to attach the teeth to. But the suppliers he was buying these materials from were cutting corners. Their metal was weak. Their thread would fray. So Yoshida made a decision that would change the history of manufacturing forever. He decided to control everything, and I mean everything. In the business world, this is called extreme vertical integration, but YKK took it to a level of absolute insanity. They didn't just stop buying metal from suppliers. They built their own massive foundries to smelt their own brass and forge their own zinc. They didn't just buy fabric. They planted their own cotton, spun their own thread, and waved their own zipper tape. They dye their own cloth. They forge the tiny metal teeth. They even manufacture the cardboard boxes that they ship the zippers in. But it gets even crazier. When YKK realized that the standard machines used to build zippers weren't precise enough for their standards, they locked the doors to their engineering department and built their own custom zipper-making machines. These machines are heavily guarded company secrets. They are hidden away from the public, and YKK refuses to patent them because patenting them would require sharing the blueprints with the world. By controlling every single microscopic atom of the manufacturing process, YKK achieved something impossible: perfect, boring reliability. They test their standard zippers to survive a minimum of 10,000 pulls up and down without a single microfracture. So why does this matter to you? And why do the biggest brands on earth refuse to use anything else? It all comes down to the economics of fear. Imagine you are the CEO of a massive clothing brand like Levi Strauss or the North Face. You manufacture millions of garments every single year. One day, a supplier from a different zipper factory comes to your office. They offer you a zipper that looks exactly like a YKK zipper, but it costs 1 cent less. If you make 10 million jackets, saving 1 cent per zipper saves your company $100,000. It sounds like a great deal, right? Wrong. It is a trap. Because if you use that cheaper zipper and just 1% of them fail, you now have 100,000 furious customers. You have people freezing on ski slopes because their jacket popped open. You have people humiliated because their jeans broke in public. Those customers will return the defective items, costing you millions in refunds. But worse than that, they will never trust your brand again. A zipper only makes up about 1% of the total cost of a piece of clothing, but it holds 100% of the responsibility. For fashion brands, buying a YKK zipper isn't just buying a fastener. It is buying an insurance policy. It is the peace of mind knowing that the zipper will likely outlive the fabric of the jacket itself. Today, YKK operates in over 70 countries around the world. They make zippers for astronauts' spacesuits. They make airtight zippers for deep-sea diving suits. They make flame-retardant zippers for firefighters. But their biggest triumph is the one sitting right there in your closet. Tadao Yoshida operated on a business philosophy he called the cycle of goodness. He believed that no one prospers unless they render benefit to others. He didn't want to be famous. He didn't care about having his name plastered across billboards. He just wanted to make a mechanical device so perfectly that you would never even have to think about it. So, the next time you get dressed, take a second to look at those 3 little letters stamped into the metal. You aren't just looking at a cheap piece of hardware. You are looking at an absolute marvel of modern engineering. You are looking at the result of one man's 70-year obsession with perfection. A tiny, silent Japanese monopoly that you trust with your modesty, your warmth, and your money every single day.